Good afternoon, folks. Okay, it's Saturday afternoon, and I am not working today on anybody else's stuff but my own. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to put a clothesline up into this shelter, this roof deck shelter that I put up this spring. I did a couple videos on it, and I haven't quite got it finished yet. Still have the gable ends to get done and a little bit of flashing in the back to mount to the trailer. This is a 36-foot fifth wheel camper trailer, and I built a deck that's 24 by 10 wide, and I am going to put a clothesline up, but I do not want to make it look like I am in a trailer park, per se. So I want to make it look decent. I want, it doesn't cost much more money to make it look good. So I went down and I researched. I was going to make some brackets up, and I went to a local hardware store, and I had found these on a shelf. These things right here. So there was 4 of them there. I bought all 4. I have a welder, so I am going to weld these 2 brackets together. Like that. And mount them. Like that. At the very end post. So when I do that, then I will take the wheel for the clothesline, and I will mount it to the bracket. This bracket has a hole in it. I'll put a little hook in there that'll be adjustable. And I'll do one on each side. It's 24 feet long, so I think the posts are set at 20 feet long from post to post on the exterior side. I'll show you from that post to that post. Oops, get my head out of the way. That post, that's 20 feet long, and I am going to make a clothesline fastened to that, and to be able to stand in one place on a wheel. Old school. Reason why I'm doing that, not because I don't have a dryer here, because I do have a dryer here. I have a washer and I have a propane dryer here. So I'm not worried about that, but I want to save in the environment. I also want to save on my pocketbook, so energy cost. So what I'm thinking is, on a nice beautiful day like today, it's a little overcast now, it's going to rain tomorrow, so I think that's what's coming in. What I'm thinking is, if I can do this, I can save myself energy cost on drying laundry for the rest of the summer. Probably late into fall. So, this is my project. Let's see how I make out. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to weld these brackets together. But I have to go set the welder up. We'll be right back. Okay, I've got it all set up in a jig here, so we can't move when I'm welding it. I'm going to just weld a little joint here and see how that goes. I don't know how well it's going to work, but So I put 4 tacks in there. You can see that. Just 4 tacks of weld, and that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the exact same thing to the next one. I had a little problem there with getting it dark out, and the reason why is because there's still a fair amount of paint on there. I didn't quite clean it up enough. So, but anyway, I'm going to continue on, get the next one done, and then we'll go to the next stage. Here's what they look like when they're done. I just welded 4 tacks on the back. I'm going to clean that up a bit, and then I'll probably give it a coat of black paint. I had to score up a little bit here just to get a ground on it. And how I did that is I screwed it down to the top of that plywood to hold, so it would hold itself up. And then I took my little magnets in the back and kept it square. And vice grip the top to make sure that when the heat got to the bracket where it's thin, that it wouldn't try to spread itself out. But anyway, so that's it. So what I'll do is have that set on is it'll be like that when it's on the post. And on this side here is where the wheel will be for the coat hanger. So let's just see how that works out. There. Now that's done. Got my 4 tack welds there. I used a generator on that just to not have to worry about the power. Geez, every time I used the welder, I always use the generator. So now, there you go, that's welded together. So I've got that bracket, it's going to sit like so. And that bracket will sit like, sorry, let me get these figured out here. That bracket will sit like so, and that bracket will sit like so. So they'll be looking like that when they're done. All right, so I'm gonna stop at that, and then we'll go to the next stage. Now I've got a little bit of trim clad or beauty tone rust paint. So anyway, I'm just gonna sponge it on there just to kind of cover up my welds, to keep them from rusting. I'm using a sponge because I don't have a paintbrush, and really doesn't require a paintbrush. You can get a sponge brush too, so might as well just use a sponge. Making it work, so they say. Should be wearing gloves because that's not going to come off my hand very easy. I can, it's pretty well empty, so it gets a little messy when it's down there like that. When you're trying to half-ass something, I guess you could call it. So there. All my welds are black now, again, and my spot that I grinded. So I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to do the other one, and then I'm going to let them set for a bit, and then I'm going to go put them up in place. I'll be back in a sec. So now I've got the brackets all done, painted up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this eyelet or this hook, and I'm going to shove it through the top hole there, and then I'm going to bolt it in place. And once that's done, then I'll put the brackets up. So I'm just going to put a nut on this side and a nut on that side of that bracket, and that will help me tighten that up into place. It'll also give me an adjustment that if I want to later on turn it and screw it in if the clothesline's too loose. So bear with me, I'll be right back. So now I've got the eyelet or the hook in there in place. And what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to hook that on there like so. And that'll give me an adjustment. So when if I want to tighten it, I can just tighten it. And I'll be able to tighten it on both ends. So it'll be able to widen it or shrink it by 3 or 4 inches. So that'll be that for now. So I'm getting ready to put the bracket up. And what I want is I want to be able to hide this clothesline from the exterior side. I do not want to see that from outside. So this is how I'm going to overcome that. I've got a 10-inch header here. So I'm going to bring it up so that when the wheel is straight out, the wheel will be behind the header, which will be what you'll see when the clothesline is empty. It might sag in the center as it's full, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to bring it up to where I think it looks like it's right, and right there is the mark. I didn't measure it, but I can eyeball it. I want the bottom of the bracket to be center of the post because I want this thing to look like it's meant to be. The other side of this is it's also acting as a brace or a bracket for the post as well in the header. Even though that's locked together by the way it's cut, this will help. Again, it looks like I want to have that set up so the height is the center of the header and the center of the post. looking at it, making sure it's level. I can tell that by eye. What I want to do is just keep it straight with everything I've got going on there. There. That looks great. I'll bring you over and let you see. What I've got is my bracket that I built, and I have it facing so it's supported on the back side, so it can't pull the bracket forward and out of the way from the wheel. And then the wheel, when it's pulled tight, it should work out like this, and that shouldn't. That's high, so that shouldn't touch the soffit here. So I'm going to go to the other side and then see what happens. See what we come up with.